What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum. I've got a quick little video I want to run through today, something that I thought would be fun. It is a bit of a follow-up from episode 59 of the actual podcast. It's something that I talked about in there, but it'll give you some good visuals to go along with that. And, maybe if you haven't listened to that, it's still some good information, I think. So one thing that I want to say here real quick is I want to talk about patches for retired players. Now, in football, a lot of the patches for retired players are player worn, meaning they'll take a guy like Edgerrin James and they'll send him a bunch of Colts jerseys and he'll say that he wore them, and hopefully he did. And they can cut those up and put those into cards. So he never actually wore those in a game. A lot of people take that, whatever is happening in football, and they say, well, that's the same thing that's happening in basketball. That is actually not true. I have only ever seen one retired player that had an event worn or a player worn patch, and that was a Wes Unseld card that Panini made. And you'll notice you don't see a lot of Wes Unseld patches from Panini. So otherwise, they are all game worn. So here's a good example here. You can see on the screen, this is a Mark Jackson card from I believe it's 2013 Immaculate. That is a game worn Knicks jersey that they got. And they typically buy these off of the old auction houses like Heritage or Golden. You'll see them on a lot of those, or the Hall of Fame auction. So they're buying these from, what seems to be legitimate sources. So, as you can see here, I've accumulated some Mark Jackson patches. And actually, I think if I scroll over, you can see I've got quite a few Mark Jackson patches. And the reason I was accumulating these is because he didn't have Pacers patches at the time. So it was around, I think it was 2018, 2019 National Treasures, where I noticed that Mark Jackson was getting Pacers patches. And I'd waited for this for a long time because he had Clippers patches. He had the Knicks patches there. He might have even, I don't know if they've had a Nuggets jersey yet. I don't think they have. But, it was time for him to get a Pacers jersey. So they finally did. And I was looking through jerseys that had sold, and I was pretty sure that they got this jersey from a Heritage auction. So what I did is I pulled up this Heritage auction. We'll pull that up here. Okay, so this is a Heritage auction here, and it says, there's a document here that photo matches this jersey to a game from March 27th, 1996 against the Washington Bullets. So, what I wanted to do is to figure out, first off, is this the same jersey that they're using in the cards? So I'd have to match up the jersey to the cards. And then, if it was, okay, do I think, or do we have any proof that this matches a jersey that he wore in a game? They gave us some big clues here. Let's see if we can put the pieces together. So when you log into your Heritage auctions, if you just, it's a free login, go ahead and sign into the site. You can get real high res images of the items that they sell. So that's what I did. And I'll scroll through here. This is an old blowout thread that I created. So I took the nameplate from one of their pictures and I went on Microsoft Paint, where I could see the mesh holes. They looked black when they're contrasted with the blue jerseys. So I colored in a lot of the mesh holes with white on Microsoft Paint just so I could see them better, and I could try and figure out if this jersey was the same one that was used. And then I took a couple of pieces from patches from Panini cards. I own the letter A patch. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of mesh holes there that I can line up. But then I found a giant piece of the J, which I didn't win. I tried to win that card. And I matched up not only the mesh holes, but also the same type of wear on this part of the J. So that made me feel fairly confident that it was the same jersey that we saw with Heritage. So from there, I took every Mark Jackson card that I saw on my Mark Jackson Pacers patch that I saw on Instagram, eBay, group breaks, and I made kind of a collage. So I had all of these pieces that were from Panini cards. It looked like they only had one jersey, and I was going to see if I could find something that definitively matched this up to a Heritage patch. And I mentioned that letter A patch earlier. I posted that on my Instagram, and Mark Jackson replied, and he said, appreciate the love. So I thought that was really cool. I always enjoyed watching Mark, and the fact that he responded to that and took the time. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I was really at a dead end. I didn't have any definitive matches, though. Even though I felt pretty good about this letter J, I wanted more. I wanted to know a little bit more. So then after a while, this one of one showed up on eBay. And it was a flawless set called, or I'm sorry, it's a National Treasure set called Lasting Legacies. And if you'll notice there is a loose thread on this part here with a mesh hole. So I kind of tried to match that up. And what I did is I ended up going to Getty Images. So we'll pull this up here. I went to Getty Images because they said, Heritage said, this is from March 27th, 1996. So I go in here and I search Mark Jackson Pacers bullets, and I tried to find one that was from that date. And it turns out I think all of these are from that game. So you can see here, March 27th, 96. And you can actually open these images in a new tab, and it will make it a lot bigger. And then you can kind of zoom in on it. All right. So it wasn't crystal clear, but you could see some loose threads hanging off in certain parts there. So that was good to see. And then there were some other images as well. So this one here, that's from a different game. So I didn't take that one. Which one? So I looked at that one, I believe, and let's see what this is from. That's from March 27th, 1996 as well. So we had a couple pictures that we could zoom in on and hopefully photo match something. So let's go back to this thread here. So these pictures on the right are from the Heritage jersey, which I've seen pieces of those chopped up in the cards. That's some of these pieces here. And then the pictures on the left are from the game. And I noticed the exact same wear on the top of the N, underneath the I, underneath the A, underneath the number 1, and then some of the same stuff here. You can see all of those have corresponding circles. Now, the only thing was, what if all of the jerseys somehow had identical wear, which is not likely, but let's say, the patches all have loose threads or all wear in specific spots. So what I did is I found a picture of a different game, which is one of them that I pulled up earlier, and I made it bigger, and it did not have loose threads in the same spot. So they did the photo matching to the March game. After looking at the Getty Images photos, I believe it's the same one. So that allowed me then to match, because of the mesh holes that I had earlier. I feel pretty certain that this Panini card is from the March game that I referenced earlier. So there you have it. And there's more that goes into that. I tried to condense and I tried to make it a lot quicker, but that's the kind of work that I enjoy doing. And it's really cool to be able to say this patch was from this specific game, especially when Panini's not doing that for us. So let me know what you think about that. Or if you found a card and you've done that yourself, let me know. I would love to see more examples of that. And until next time, remember there's new episodes of the podcast every Thursday. I'll talk to you later.